Hi. We have the 717 portal. So I wanted to do a reading. I was going to do a reading anyway because it's the 717 portal. But I got a new deck. It is Work Your Light Oracle Cards by Rebecca Campbell. And I wanted to try it out. So it seems perfect. I was downstairs in the studio painting, getting it ready for when we have events inside. And I love it. I love the color. I just have to put the trim up and get the store part finished and go shopping for some stuff. And we'll be on our way. I'm aiming to have it done by the Lion's Gate. So anyway, I have a list of questions that I have pulled for with the new deck, and I have some influencing from the Starseed Tarot. And we'll see what happens. I may pull more. You never know. We'll see how it goes. So the 717 portal is here, so I wanted to get like a reading on it and see how it's affecting everybody. So let's see how it's affecting everybody. So the overall energy of the 717 portal, and we also have like the eclipse energies, we have like all this other stuff happening, and the 717 portal is also bringing in the 1111 energy. Like you may see an increase of 1111 at this time, and that's basically just like a reminder to watch your thoughts and to pay attention because things are shifting, things are changing, and it's going to affect everybody differently. I don't want to like scare people and be like it's coming, because you get to navigate your path the way that you would like to navigate your path. If you want to navigate it with any fear, go ahead, but this could be a very good thing. So the overall energy that came out is break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. So, boom, boom. Overall energy. So this overall energy is basically similar to the stuff I've been talking about recently. Breaking ancestral patterns. So this has been coming up a lot, and it happens to just be like the week that I did the healer's rite with somebody, and the healer's rite is all about bringing up the past to heal it and connecting with your ancestors to heal whatever stuff they have passed down to you, whatever beliefs they have passed down to you, whatever suffering they have passed down to you, whatever it is. You want to cut it, clear it, get rid of it. You don't want to be holding on to stuff from your past, and you don't want to be holding on stuff from your ancestors' past, because it's like all different levels, and that's like where our everyday fears come from, and if you have some sort of phobia, it could be because of something that happened to somebody that's like, you don't even know, somebody could have drowned and it could have given you a fear of drowning. Somebody could have died in a closet, so you're claustrophobic. And these fears are found all over the place, and people don't always like to admit their fears. Some people have like a fear of spiders. Some people have a fear of snakes. Some people have a fear of like leaving the house. So it's on all different levels, but the overall energy is bringing in that energy of like healing whatever's been holding you back. And it's like all about breaking that chain, which is something that came up with the womb rite as well. So in the womb rite, the women and men, if men want to do it, heal their energetic womb space, and they like end the suffering. So if anybody in their family or their like history has been raped or was like abused in some way sexually, if there was some sort of like trauma with birth or loss of a child or whatever, that type of stuff can energetically linger around, and that can affect you and how you feel in your everyday life in regards to your energy. So those are just some examples. of how that could be interacting with your world. But some of the things that may come up are like anger, or you could get triggered by things you've never been triggered before by. And it could be things that you've done in the past or somebody else had like pointed out to you that they didn't like about you, or that, you know, you had some habit that wasn't good, and you may start noticing that habit in other people and being like, ugh, don't do that. That's just another example. You also may have like this new ambition come in, because it's all about healing and rewriting the future as well. So you may have like this energy boost come in where you like want to get things rolling. You want to like heal yourself. You want to change your physical body, or not change your physical body, but you want to change the way you treat your physical body. Maybe you want to like start exercising again. Maybe you want to start eating better. Maybe you want to start breaking habits. Like if you have some sort of habit, maybe you want to stop that habit. Like my dad, he has to have an operation done, so he has to quit smoking. So these things can also be forced upon you, like, or they can come up because of circumstances. So because he has to have an operation, they say that his shoulder won't heal unless he quits smoking, and that they won't even operate on him. So he has to stop. So like if you're not thinking like that you're going to stop things, you may end up getting forced into it. Like if you're somebody who drinks a lot, you may have like all of a sudden some aversion to it where you get sick if you drink, or the hangovers are just not worth drinking. If you have an addiction to something else, and this can be all different types of things. Like you could have addictions, like I'm picking up on the divine feminines and divine masculines, like in their relationships and stuff. Like you could have addictions in regards to that. You could have like a codependency addiction where you feel like you need somebody else in your life. You could have an addiction to, it's like an addiction to suffering, basically. Anything that's suffering that you are, you know, it's not doing any favors for you, yet you continue to do it. That type of stuff is going to come up to the surface, and it's really going to want to be examined. So if you're doing anything that's like not in alignment with your highest and best, you may find a shift in how you're thinking about that, and you're probably going to start being pushed harder into making changes that you know are good for you, but you may have had resistance to, because we don't always enjoy, like, you know, eating healthy, or you know, treating our bodies like a temple. It can be difficult, you know. You'd rather go to like a drive-thru and get something quick, and, you know, instead of making like a 3-course meal. Maybe you know, smoke a bunch of weed every day just to kind of like calm you down or whatever, but you figure out like, oh, you know what, like that may be clouding my judgment, so you start to smoke less of it. And there's also like that, again, there's like that push and energy that's like gonna push you to take action in the physical too. Like today I like cleaned all day long. I was like cleaning, and organizing things. I mean, everything's already clean, but I just like continuously like, let's clean it and organize it and move it around. And then after that, I went downstairs and painted my studio, because I'm like, all of a sudden like, let's go. You know, and I've been doing my events outside, but like now I'm like, I want to get it done. And getting the painting part, like the first big part of it done, is like that accelerator too, because now it's like, ooh, look how nice it looks. Like, I can't wait to do the next part. I can't wait to do the next part. And I'm wicked excited that my floor, like I ordered 3 boxes of floor to finish what I had got. I had an amazing deal come to me. It was the exact floor I wanted. My dad kept telling me I couldn't get it. It was too much money. Like, that's crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like luxury, whatever. But I loved it. I fell in love with it. And one day, it pops up on Facebook Marketplace. This woman's selling 10 boxes of this floor, and she only wants $250. And there's like 5 people ahead of me, and I'm like, boop, I message her. I'm like, I need that floor. And I didn't even care how much like the 3 boxes were going to cost. Like I didn't even care how I was going to get them. I just knew I needed to have that floor and I would make it work. And luckily I was able to get the name of a company that makes the floor so that I could get the rest of what I needed. But like just those 3 boxes cost over 200 and something dollars. So looking at how much I saved and manifesting the exact floor that I wanted was awesome sauce. But that is the type of energy we're going to get back into, because we were having that energy of a lull, like where we weren't like following our dreams and we weren't healing and we weren't moving forward and we were just kind of like stuck. And now we're getting back into that flow of like, all right, I got to start doing this and I got to start doing that, and like getting together with people and coming out of your like shell and stuff like that. It's all connected. Like I really feel like everybody will be affected differently. Some people might retreat. This is a collective thing, so everybody is influenced in a different way. You may get the boost of energy to like take your next step, but your next step might be to like step the hell back and stop doing so much and like reflect inward. And I do feel like that's coming for me too. Like I feel like I'm going to be taking it a little bit, like I'm going to be making the steps necessary to do what I want to do, but I'm also going to be balancing it with like the downtime to make sure that I'm like, because I'm also studying to have my what is that? Sorry about that. Apparently my AC beeps like a freaking fire alarm. So anyway, yeah, I'm studying to make my 13 like stone healer's mesa. And there's a lot of work that goes along with that. Like it's not like you just put stuff in a piece of cloth. Like you got to do a lot of meditations. You got to do a lot of like inner reflection. You got to make sacred fires and do stuff with that. You got to have like so many people come get a healing and practice on them. So I have people coming tomorrow night to practice on them, but I still need other people to practice on, and continue that path. But that is all connected to the ancestral healing too, because it's shamanic work, and it's like we're starting in the direction of the south, and it works with the ancestors. So like this really resonates for me right now. And if you've been being pulled or called to shamanic work, I suggest starting with something like the Muneki rites. Like the Muneki rites are 9 rites of initiation. I am planning on offering it long distance. Like I want to make a group on Facebook or something and get everybody in there together and be like, all right, on this day, on this time, I'm going to send healing, like, the healer's rite and da 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 da, and send you that information that goes along with it, upload a video to show you how to do it yourself. I can send people digital manuals. I'm trying to figure out the details of how I want to do it, because I feel like, like when I do it one-on-one with somebody, like I charge X amount. So to do it in a group setting like that and to do it long distance, I want to figure out like what's fair, not fear, and all of that. But if you've been having that call to connect with like the more shamanic type of work, or to do deeper healing, like if you're into Reiki, or even if you're just somebody that feels like you need that ancestral healing, or if you want to like open up energetically and be able to channel and be able to connect and be able to heal yourself and free yourself from suffering, that is something that is very beneficial for that type of work. And in regards to rewriting the future, I think some of us were stuck in this headspace of like, this isn't going to happen and I don't want to do this. And we're just kind of like allowing outside influences, those moments of chaos to bring us down. And we're coming back up out of that. Some of us are coming back up out of that, and we're like, all right, life goes on. Let's go, one foot in front of the other. Instead of like predicting doom, let's start making my reality a reflection of what I had already anticipated or planned on. So, and some of you may be having like a total shift in what you want your future to look like. That happens sometimes. I've had people wake up, they come to an event of mine, and then afterwards, like, their entire life is like, uh-oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I have one person in particular who I am like, now I took on like the mentoring role, and she's at the point now where she's mentoring other people. So, but before that, she was supposed to go to like some crazy, like, 3D job, and probably not be very happy. But she listened to her call. So if you're having the call, listen to it. And it doesn't mean that you have to step into some spiritual role. If you're having a call in your physical world, like in regards to your life, your career, your relationships, the way you're thinking, listen to it. And if you need guidance, reach out for it. If you need assistance, ask for it. You have guides. Everybody has guides. Everybody has an I am presence, which you can just consider your thoughts or your consciousness, if it's easier for you in that way. But basically, your I am presence resides outside of yourself too, and it's very connected to source and to light, and it's that thing inside of you that's like, don't do that, or hey, you know what? Let's shift things up and change or rewrite where we're going. So you want to listen to that call. This is going to be a big time of transformation, and it's funny because as I look at this, it's like they're going into a portal of sorts, and it does look like they're shifting, like they're like you can see through them. So it's like the ancestors, it's like the spirit of the ancestors, but she's walking into that portal with them, and it's like she's walking in there to heal whatever is like lingering to be healed, and in doing that, she rewrites history as well, because when you go back and you heal all of that stuff that's been like happening for who knows how long, you rewrite history, because you end the suffering. If you don't heal those things that are coming from your ancestral lineage, it's just going to continue to be passed down and passed down through generation after generation after generation. And that's why, like, the Mune key, it's like when people get the rights, it's like give the rights to other. When people get the womb right, it's like give it to as many women as you can. And if men want to be a part of it, allow the men to be a part of it. So we're at this like pivotal time where it just feels like we need to get this energy and this frequency out to others. And if you know somebody in your mind that like really needs something, and they may be like turned off to it, or they're like, oh, I don't believe in that, you can communicate with their I am presence for them, and just ask that you send in alignment with their I am presence. You don't ever want to infringe on somebody's free will, but if if you're feeling like intimidated to talk to somebody about like what they need, or if you feel like somebody needs something and you don't know if they're going to be open to it, you just ask to send it in accordance with the will of their I am presence. And if they're not open to it in any way whatsoever, that it goes somewhere else, that it is needed, so that somebody can benefit from that healing and that light that you're sending out. Sorry, I had to turn off the AC, and now it's getting warm, so I got to turn on the fan. Whew. All right. So that is the overall energy card for this portal that is opening right as we speak. And it's been opening. Like, the energies have been here. So this shouldn't be anything too crazy or too new. We feel the effects of stuff before it's here, during it, and after it. Just like the moon, everything affects us in the overall. Okay, so then I asked for the headspace, like what's going on for the headspace of the collective right now, and it's all about play. It says, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So in your headspace, in your thoughts, you may have been like rigid, you may have been thinking like, how am I going to get this done, how am I going to get that done, I need to focus on this, I need to focus on that, blah, 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 blah. And what that's doing is like putting you in fear, or like in this frozen energy where you get nothing done. And I feel like I was in that energy for a while, because it was like, I wasn't even sleeping, and I'm up all the time, and it's like the only thing I was accomplishing was like one thing a day. And that was, when my mother was sick, that was because I was like constantly traveling back and forth to see her. But like now I'm trying to get back into the flow of like what I was doing before. And I also am in a new home, so I'm like trying to get into like all new things, like, you know, healing, the processing. The thing was with my mom, trying to like make this place normal and work and move forward and like get into my flow here. And, you know, that can be crazy. And then still do like the 3D things, like, you know, cooking, cleaning, taking care of 6 dogs. So we may have been in a headspace where it's like, da, 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 and like we're freaking ourselves out. So we have to get like into that energy of having fun and celebrating. Like, you know, like, oh my God, I got a new deck. Like taking that, like, taking away from your logical mind, or you're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and this is this and this. Like, treat yourself to something. Make it fun. Like, instead of just like me, like, not wanting to paint, or like, because painting, you know, it can be fun. It's never like fun doing it by yourself. So like I put on headphones and I was just like do 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 do, and I got it done quickly. Well, quickly for me, I think. And I'm trying to not be so serious about things. Like, I'm trying to like let things go that may trigger me or bother me, you know. And that is going to happen. Like, you're going to be tested, you're going to get triggered. So try to make light of it. Try to have fun. Try not to get too stuck in your logical mind or in your like woe is me type of energy. And, you know, just because we have to heal stuff, just because we have stuff that's like coming up or whatever, doesn't mean we can't, you know, connect with our inner child and have some fun and like make fun of ourselves. If you can't laugh at yourself, then like what's the point, you know? You got to have a little bit of fun. You got to break free. And it's like she's sitting in a glass of wine. So even the message that's coming through is like, you know, go out and relax. Like, get together with people of a like mind, or get together with somebody who like feeds and nourishes your soul. Go out and have a drink. Just have some like downtime where you can laugh and relax, and it's not all about work, or it's not all about like, you know, making something happen. There's got to be a balance in your life so that you're like happy, and that you can keep your head and your thoughts in alignment and navigate through like this energy. And you see like the energy, it's like almost like the energy of the portals coming in, and it's like, it's going to be intense, there's going to be stuff coming up, but you got to remember to like have fun and not get too caught up into that energy. And then I asked about the heart space, and we had boundaries. And it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? So for the collective right now, your heart space, it's like, and this is connected to your emotions. This is obviously connected to how you feel about yourself. And this is how you know, navigate with your love. So if you're coming from a place of love, and you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and you're not getting anything back, you need to establish some boundaries, okay? Because what's happening is you're just draining yourself, and you're giving and you're giving. And it's like, look at all these hands, like reaching out and just taking and just taking and just taking. And she's like, okay, here you go. That is going to drain you, and that's going to affect you on a lot of levels. And that's going to like keep it kind of difficult to have fun if you're running around trying to please everybody. And this is a lesson that has been big in my life. It's like, I got to stop trying to please everybody else all the time and work on like trying to please myself and have fun for myself, instead of wondering and worrying and thinking. And you know, you like have no idea how many times I like am so concerned about somebody else, and if I hurt their feelings, if I said the wrong thing, if I didn't, like. And a lot of times what will happen is, if I'm around somebody I don't want to hurt, or I'm like nervous that I'm going to say the wrong thing, I just don't say anything at all. So it's like, that's cutting you off from fun too, you know? So you got to establish these boundaries with yourself and stand in your power and be like, okay, you know what? It's okay for me to say no. It's okay for me to have my own opinion. It's okay for me to like be, you know, independent and strong in my way of approaching life. And I mean that in a way of like, you know, you're not like, if somebody calls you up, and you don't just drop everything and run. I mean, there's certain circumstances that you would probably want to do so, and that's okay depending on the circumstances. But, you know, if somebody's calling you up every day with like their drama, or they're calling you up and just because they know that you're going to be the one that's going to fix it for them, or they like are constantly looking for free handouts, or they're constantly asking questions but they're never giving anything back. You have to establish some firm boundaries with these people. And this can be in regards to relationships too. If you are in a relationship with somebody, or if you're like wanting to have a relationship with somebody, and you give over all the power to them, and they get to dictate and choose when they see you or talk to you, and how they treat you, then you really need to establish some boundaries, because that's really not going to bring you any fun or joy. It may for a few minutes, but then it's going to, you're going to go back into that, oh, woe is me type of thing. And that also can be a result of this type of stuff. You could have ancestral stuff coming up. You could be repeating patterns of the past. You could be a people pleaser because your great, 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 great uncle was a people pleaser. It could have been something passed down in that way. And these are just things that are coming in. And so it's time to stop, the chain of things that aren't serving us. And it could be your own creation. It doesn't mean that it has to come from somebody else. Take ownership for the stuff that you've created in your reality. And it's just stuff that you signed up to do anyway. So, it's all right, let me acknowledge what the hell I signed up to do, so that I can kind of do it and establish these boundaries in my life, so that I'm not doing a bunch of shit I don't want to do with a bunch of people I don't want to give my energy to, and I can bring that energy back to myself, and I can actually have some fun in this life and take some time out for me, and not worry or wonder if I'm upsetting somebody. I always feel guilty. If I go to the beach, I feel guilty because I know my dad's here working, but he could go to the fucking beach too. He just doesn't. So it's I'm going to stop feeling guilty and wondering and worrying about that, put some boundaries up and be yeah, guess what, Bridget, it's okay to take a day off, because there was months and months and months and years and years and years that I didn't. And there's that wasn't serving me or my boundaries. That wasn't bringing me any fun. So now it's time to establish that and create that and honor that. And there was another card that came out with the heart space, and it's called Mintakun, which is longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So I do feel this message is for the star-seeded souls, for those who those empaths, the light workers, the people who are here with a divine mission and they know it. They're called to this work. They're called to these readings. They're called to a higher consciousness. They have a higher understanding. They know what a portal is. They understand it's just consciousness and energy, and portals open up as a result of consciousness and energy. And during those times, different things happen and different things arise and different things can be healed and shed, and light can come into your life. But, a lot of the star seeds, they do have that longing for home. They do have a problem with not feeling 100% at home here on this planet. And I get it. Believe me, I get it. There's days where I'm why am I here? I just want to go home. I can look up at the stars at night and just hope that somebody's coming to get me. Because this world is a hard place sometimes. But it's also connected to belonging, the original light workers. So just because you don't feel like you're at home all the time, your actual mission is to come here and save this place, but it's also to make it your home and to bring the energy and frequency of home here. Okay? So you can look at yourself as this little pillar of light, or this little beacon of light, or a little tower that is got a transmitter at the top, and energy and frequency is attracted to it from where you originated. And so you might have multiple lifetimes or multiple frequencies that come into you, but you're the antenna that it comes into, and you ground it into the earth. So your longing for home has to stop looking outside of yourself, looking up to the star, and looking to escape from this reality, because you can't. You have to be okay, what can I do here to make it feel like home? How can I establish these boundaries in my life? How can I anchor the right proper energy into my life? How can I shift who I'm being in this reality? How can I heal the things that I know inside of myself and inside of my family is not in alignment or in our highest and best? How can I bring the knowledge, the wisdom, the light of where I belong to this earth. And so that is coming up in the heart space. And that is something that this portal is going to do. It's going to make you look at your life and feel a little bit differently about it. You know, you're going to be able to look at the earth and be like, okay, I am home. You're going to be able to anchor more of your original divine coding here. And that is going to assist not only you, but the collective. And that is going to assist in shedding the stuff from the past and setting those healthy boundaries and having some more fun and feeling like you belong here. And you're also going to be finding more people who are feeling this way. And it's like, because you got to come out. You got to get out of that, like, let me retreat away. Let me just hide from the world. You got to get out of that energy and start connecting with others of a like mind so that you can create more of that original light here with the light workers that you came in with. Sorry. Okay, so then for the actions, it goes right along with what I was just talking about. It says, soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So that seems perfect for this, right? So we're just talking about our feelings and not feeling, you know, like we have to start having fun. We have to stop like people pleasing. We have to surround ourselves with the right people and the right energies and the right frequencies. And, you know, that longing for home and that longing for belonging, you know, connected to the original light workers is also calling for that action for you to connect with your tribe, to call her in, you know, call in the people, call in the souls, open up your heart to like recognize them and see them because they're everywhere. And, you know, realize that you don't have to do all of this alone. You know, you're not the only anchor here. You're not the only antenna here. And there's more and more of them waking up now. And there's more and more of them here on the planet. And, you know, even people who've just been interacted with by those who bring light and frequency, they are now activated too. And like when I do my activations or I do my healings and my things like that, like when I work one-on-one with people or if I work in a group with people, those people all get a piece of that energy and frequency to take with them and to channel it through their consciousness because it's like programmed into them now. You know, we bring the energy in, we bring the frequency in, we bring the conscious thoughts, and we bring their mind to that place so that they can heal the things that might be keeping them from being able to anchor that light and frequency. And when they leave there, they have that ability turned on. And it's up to them to continue to go forward and to establish their own boundaries and their own healing and their own fun. But these people will either become your tribe members or they'll fade off. But if they're meant to be in your life and they're meant to hold the light, then they're going to stick around. You know, so if there's people in your life that have been around for a long time, you know, those are probably some like real soul tribe members that are going to be there through the long haul. And your soul tribe can shift at times too. Like, you know, I have people who I started talking to at the beginning of my journey that I still talk to. I just don't talk to them as often. And then I have people who are like, you know, it always shifts. Like there's always new people coming in, but there's some that stick around. And it's the ones that stick around are your soul family. They're the ones that like, there's a divine mission and a divine purpose. There's a reason why you've been brought together, and the universe literally won't let you separate because you have something to do together here. And until you've either finished that role, or, you know, align in some way, they're still going to remain there, or they're going to keep coming back until you honor what needs to be done there. And some of them, they're never going to leave because they literally are like your soul family. They could be your soul mates. They could be like what people, you know, like a twin flame. They could be just people that are like sent in to trigger or awaken something inside of you. But remember, you don't have to do this alone. And this is a message that's been coming through a lot lately. Like it's time to connect with others of a like mind. It's time to open up consciously and energetically, open up your heart, meet new people, have new experiences, have fun. And like really open up to that divine. We have all this beautiful white in here. We've got the dolphins, we've got the whales. So the dolphins bring in that like joy, they bring in that laughter, that happiness, and the whales bring in the wisdom. And the whales are white, so they're bringing in divine wisdom. They're bringing in ancient truth. And it's like this is mirrored. So these people that are coming into your life are mirroring you to help heal you. So, I've had somebody come into my life that's going through like exactly the same things that I'm going through. And her and I like hit it off, and I feel like she is one of those people that I've got to call in and start being like, hey, you know what? We don't have to do this alone. Like I literally messaged her the day after we talked and was like, I really don't feel so alone anymore. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be connecting with the people who get it, the people who share that energy and frequency. And you can't force it, you can't force it. It's just going to be there. It's either there or it's not. And for those of you who have people who like keep popping up into your reality, or those who keep like you just keep thinking about them, that there's something there that needs to like come together. You have to mirror something to each other so that it can be healed and shifted. And either then you'll separate, or either then you'll ascend up even more into your next missions and lessons and so on. I have people like that in my life too, who each time we come together, we learn something new, or we feel like this energetic connection, and then we may separate for a little bit, and then we come back together, and it's like we do it all over again. And it's always interconnected with like the overall energies of the universe and all of that. All right, so then I asked, what actions do we need to take? And this card came out. And it's birthing a new age, birthing new creations, and dreaming a new world into being. So how perfect is that? It's time to create this new reality. It's time to take like ownership of your reality. It's time to step into that creator role and to start healing yourself and others, and getting together with those other people who share that same energy, that same frequency, the people of your soul tribe who are going to help assist you in affecting like the overall collective. These are the actions that you need to take together. And you see the big circle here? It's like they all need to come together in circle and activate and align and integrate these energies, these frequencies. And again, it's like there's portal energy all over here. So this action is coming together while this portal energy is here, working together. Like tomorrow night I'm doing the illuminations with 2 people, and that's right on 717 portal. It's like I know those are going to be powerful, potent activations, and I'm looking forward to just delivering them, never mind like what they're going to receive from it. But again, I'm calling in my soul family. I'm not doing it alone, and I know I need to practice. So I asked for people to show up that carry that vibration and energy to help me with that, so that I don't have to look outside of myself or feel so alone, and I can have healthy boundaries with these people. I know they're not going to take from me. That's why I asked and offered them if they wanted to have the illumination, because I don't offer that to just anybody. You have to have the right energy and frequency, and I have to know that I can trust you to not, drain me or try to take from me or try to take advantage of me. So that is something that I am working on, is having those healthy boundaries and only working with those who resonate on a cellular vibrational level. If I don't feel your vibration matches with mine, I set these boundaries up, it's at different levels. I will work with people, and I do work with people. It's just to like what extent or what level that is. And again, that is a reflection of, calling in those people who actually like get it and vibrate with you. And it's just something that happens or doesn't happen. It's not like we choose it. It's just energetic. And everybody holds their own purpose and their own mission in your life. I have a lot of people who show up in my life as like mom energy. I've had people show up in my life as dad energy. I've had people show up in my life just to be like a mirror to me. I've had people show up to kind of like inspire something inside of me, or to like remind me of something, or to release something. I've learned lots of lessons, and not all of those people were awakened people. Your soul family doesn't have to be awakened. you might be that part that needs to awaken them, to see if you can get them to turn on or answer the call that's inside of them. Sometimes your soul family has gone through a lot of trauma and a lot of heartache, and you have to be that beacon of light and stand tall for them and bring in that new light and that new energy and that new age of consciousness and understanding to these people. You have to teach them. And I find it so funny they have the forehead to forehead together, because in the Mune key, that's one of the final things to the other person. We take that forehead and we put our other forehead to it, and we just set the intention that all of that energy and all of the information jumps from one mind to the other. And that is one of the most powerful experiences that you can have in those moments, especially with the creator, right? When you take stewardship for all of creation, connecting with the archetypes, it's so potent and powerful. I wish more people would understand, it's, people do this stuff for a reason. It's not just da da da, it makes a difference. It helps birthing in this new light. It helps healing the past. It helps finding who you're supposed to be aligned with, and actually knowing it, instead of just wondering, is this person really my friend? You can feel it when it's somebody who resonates on all of those levels. So those are the actions you need to take, is getting into alignment with your soul family, getting into alignment with your mission, your purpose, the people who are bringing you joy, having those healthy boundaries set, working together to bring in new energies and frequencies, and clearing out any of the ancestral beliefs or any of the beliefs that you've taken on in this lifetime, so that you can heal and shift, and that you can create that new reality and start moving in that new path to what you really want to have manifest. Ride that energy wave that's coming in right now, that's shaking you up, that's getting you off your ass, and it's getting you out there into the world, so that you can make a difference and really make an impact here with this energy. And take it and utilize it for the best. Okay. So the next question is how the 717 portal is going to, what needs to be healed during this, what's going to come up. And we got the crumbling, and it says, what are you clinging on to? So this to me looks like the tarot card. I mean the tower, not tarot, the tower card from the tarot, which came up in the collective reading for the starseeds. And so these tower moments have been happening for people. And a tower moment is just when it's everything comes crashing down. And that can be in many different ways. It can be in your physical reality. It can be in your mental reality. It can be in your emotional reality. These things are crashing down. So you may have felt a certain way about things, in the past. And all of a sudden you find that your idea to it is crashing. You may have thought that you wanted something so badly, and then all of a sudden that idea comes crashing down. What? Why was I thinking that? And those types of things could have been influenced too by this. Things that needed to be cleansed or healed, things that needed to be released, they got pushed up for the healing too. So I was talking about earlier with things forcing to be done, that could have happened in regards to how you feel about something. You may have had a preconceived notion about blah, blah, blah. You may have had an idea about something, or you had an opinion about something, or you felt a certain way about a person or a situation or what you want in life. And as a result of some of the things that have happened, maybe you've lost somebody, maybe you've had to move, maybe you've had to switch careers, maybe you've had to give up something in the physical world. Maybe you went to detox. Maybe you went to there's a lot of things. So however that applies to you, whatever you envision in your life as something that came crashing down. And this could be a relationship with somebody. This could have came crashing down. This could be a lot, maybe your finances. Maybe all of a sudden you're going broke, and you can't afford the things that you've been having in your reality for a while. So, that is another way of things being forced out of your reality. But as a result of that, what happens is it gives you the opportunity to heal and build again. So there could be things that you're clinging on to that are gonna come crashing down. So in regards to healing, you may be healing the things that have already crashed. You may be grieving something, or rebuilding something, or expanding in some way, or you've got a promotion or whatever. But these things could also still be coming. So if you've felt a certain way about your career or something, you may all of a sudden find that crashes down around you. Like if you're not in alignment anymore, like with the job that you work, or if it just isn't fulfilling you and you're not walking away from it, it may crumble in front of you. It may be taken from you because you're not listening to that call to align with what you actually want to be doing. And it could be happening with relationships. Like you could have thought that you wanted somebody so badly, or that you were in love with somebody, and then all of a sudden, you have this realization of you just see a different side of them all of a sudden, and you're like, you know what? That's horrible, and no thank you. That could be happening, and that could be happening with people in your lives too. It could be happening with your family. People could be having stuff going on with their family not treating them with the respect or the love that they deserve. Particularly those who have the sensitive souls, and that call to find your soul family, your actual family here, your genetic family here, may not be your soul family. There may be members from your family that are your soul family, and there may be some that haven't been activated, or they're not awakened, or they just don't understand you. They still care about you or whatever, but you may have a crumbling in regards to that too. You may be having a falling out with somebody in your family, and you stop communication with them, or you may find family members that you haven't talked to in a long time are coming back out of the woodwork because you have something to heal with them. And that could cause tower moments because you've got to face something that needs healing and needs to be rebuilt, and it could also be if you're clinging on to something from the past that was connected to somebody from your family that you're no longer talking to, or that was estranged for some reason. They could be coming back in so that you can heal that last aspect and move forward. And that again can be connected to the ancestral healing as well, and clearing those things in your reality that aren't serving you. And this also could be in regards to romantic relationships, or romantic feelings towards people. You may have felt a certain way about a person and thinking that you wanted to have a union with them, and then all of a sudden you see the other version of them, or you see the true version of them, because love can often blind us to the truth, and you realize how little, or how maybe your boundaries weren't being met. Maybe your standards, maybe you lowered your standards because you liked somebody so much, or you gave too much because you liked somebody too much, and then you saw the truth in them, and that they just want to take and cling and take what they want from you, and not respect your boundaries, and not respect you as a human, or you as a being, or even the fact that you have feelings, just totally disregarding how you feel or think. Perhaps they just don't, they just want to use you for something. And that can be in many different ways. Some people could be wanting to use you sexually. Some people could be wanting to use you financially. Some people want to be, if you're in, if you're an energy healer, there's people who can come in that want to suck and drain your energy from you. I've had this happen before, where there's people who just take. And that can even be in regards to the things that you offer. I have the ability to build websites. I have the ability to do healings. I have the ability to do this type of stuff. I have a lot of different things that I can do. I can paint, I can draw, I can write, I can channel, I can, there's a lot of things. And so a lot of times people come to me and ask me for help with certain things. And some of these people come for the energetic purposes of needing a healing. And, there's firm boundaries there, and they get their healing and they go. And then there's other people who want you to just like give them a healing without any type of like energy exchange. And then like there's those people who cling and cling and cling, or they like want you to send them healing all the time, or they want to see you all the time, or they want to like you to fix everything for them, when in reality like you're just supposed to be like, you know, being a channel to set them on the path to heal themselves. You know, the healer is there to awaken that inside of you. Yeah, you should be getting healings like regularly if you're struggling with something. Like people who have depression should get healings at least once a month. But you know, you don't need to turn it into like this addiction, because that happens too sometimes. Like there's people who come into my reality and they become addicted to something. Like they always want a reading, or they always want to know, or they always want to hear. They like, how do you feel about this? What do you think about that? And it's like they're digging for spiritual guidance rather than just being your friend. And sometimes you just need a friend. And then there's like the people who do this in a way like they just take and take and take from you, or they you know, just disregard the fact of like how you feel for them. Like maybe they abuse the fact that you care about them, and they have boundaries up with you, but you put your boundaries down, and you know, lessen who you are because of them. That can come crashing down too, because all of a sudden you're going to see these people for who they really are. You know, especially if your soul family starts showing up, people who actually care about you, love you, and honor you, and don't want to like overstep their boundaries, and they don't want to just take. They, you know, it's like a 50-50 give and take, and they don't just use you for something, like whether it be, you know, what you have to offer, or in a sexual way, or whatever. It's just there's a lot of different aspects happening in connection to this. But what's happening now is that the people who have had this happen to them are starting to recognize it, because they are now having other people come into their reality that bring in this energy of home, and they're not feeling so alone anymore. They found their real people who are their real mirrors, and so their whole idea surrounding those people could come crashing down when all of a sudden you're able to have those firm boundaries and be like, you know what, unless you can show up for me in the way that I show up for you, then I don't want anything to do with you. And it's like, and if you're clinging to anything, like this could be reversed too. So if, say that there's somebody that you've been clinging to, and you've been wanting them, and you've been lowering your standards and your boundaries because you just want their recognition, or there's like something that draws you to them, you may all of a sudden have this come crashing down and be like, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. Like, what am I trying to do? You know, there's a lot that can be going on with this. And if you've been clinging on to them, you know, they're like, stop, whatever. And if you're clinging on to things in your life that you know are bringing you down, like if you're eating certain foods and it makes you sick, stop it. If you're not treating your body like a temple, if you're, you know, putting things into it, or drugs into it, or you know, different types of chemicals, and you know it's not doing you any favors, then you should stop. If you're, you know, not getting the proper sleep, then you need to start trying to get the proper sleep. If you're feeling like sore, you need to figure out what it's connected to, because again, all of our illnesses, all of our physical pain is a result of suffering and a result of something we've likely done to ourselves. So when this tower has come crashing down, you have the opportunity to rebuild and to release and to let go of anything you've been clinging on to. You know, it's time to embrace these changes and embrace these new versions of ourselves, and to come in with that new light for each other. You know, if you're part of somebody's like soul family and soul tribe, you need to come together to assist each other, like navigating through these changes. And for those who are just awakening, or for those who are like just starting to be like, okay, what is this? Like, what's happening to me? You need to reach out to those who know. You know, reach out to your soul family. If there's somebody that you know that may be able to assist you on your journey, reach out to them and ask them for help, because if they're of the light and they're going through it, they're going to know. You know, and it's all about birthing this new age. So if you're the person that somebody gets called because somebody's awakening and they need assistance, Of course, having healthy boundaries, and if you're somebody who, like, that's your career or something, you need to make sure that they're honoring your time. And if it's just something that, like, you're doing out of the kindness of your heart to assist each other, then you also need to make sure you're, like, receiving, like, that the energy goes back and forth both ways. Like, it's, as long as one person isn't always getting what they want, and the other person is just succumbing to the pressure of that person, then you're good. But I think these are the types of lessons and things that we're going to be seeing coming to the surface, and we're going to be seeing a big shift in who people are resonating with, and a shift in this new energy, this new, like, birthing that new age into existence is happening, because everything that is holding on to the old is crumbling down. Even your thoughts, even the things that you're thinking about, even the people that you've maybe held on to for too long. People you like it could be your own parents, it could be your siblings. There could be a lot of things going on in your life, and think you just need to honor who you are and continue on. And if they're part of your soul family, they're going to love you and honor you and stick with you. And then I asked what we needed to know, and that was being unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So this is, like, all about, like, like, when you go back and you connect with the pieces of your soul that you, like, maybe have lost in other lifetimes or even in this lifetime. So when we go through traumatic events in our lives, we often have, like, an aspect of our soul that, like, stays there and becomes wounded. And again, that's how it shows up. It can show up energetically. It can show up in your, like, genetic pool. It can show up in the physical. Like, it's represented over and over and over again because it's something that happened to you. So you could, like, do something like a soul retrieval, like have somebody, guide you back to your past lives and go into that, like, unconscious place to figure out, what is triggering what and what's connected to something else. And oftentimes people do find the answers, and they oftentimes are able to get confirmation that they existed at that time, and that they had, like, accurate visions of that time. I had somebody who had the date and details of one of her lifetimes, and it turned out that, like, the things that she was seeing and interacting with were definitely a part of that time, and it wasn't very far-fetched for it to have been occurring as the way she said it was. And I've had other people have, like, confirmation like that, where they'll get a name or they'll get something and they go look it up and they find, like, that person, and they find all of the information connected to that person, and it's like they figure out who they were. And they're also, what they're doing there, they're not just figuring out who they were. Like, if there was anything that happened in that lifetime that was traumatic, they go back and they retrieve that part of the soul that may have been, like, forgotten there, or had been, like, lost or damaged, or, it just, like, it took a blow. So it's like we go back and we find that information, and we look at it, and we look at it without attachment. We look at it without reliving it. We just revisit it so that we can figure out why we're dealing with certain things in our current paradigm, or we figure out why, like, certain things are coming crashing down around us. And we oftentimes find that, oh, we needed to do that in order to heal that. And then you retrieve those aspects of yourself, or the aspects of your soul, and you come back into this life, and you start building new. And then we have contracts and past lives too. So again, it's that information about, like, there's certain people in your reality that are going to show up, and they have soul contracts with you. And some of them could be leaving your reality, and some of them could be coming into your reality. Some of them may just be shifting a little bit. They don't leave your reality altogether. But the part of your soul contract may be up, like, the length of, like, a certain degree of that contract may be up. And as that happens, oftentimes, other people come in that are going to, like, step into that energy of where that soul contract was, and then they have other people step into their energy for that soul contract, and it goes back and forth. So, like, never let that scare you. Never think that, like, oh my God, my soul contract's going to end. And, like, if it's, this person is, like, somebody that you resonate a lot with, it's likely that you're going to have a soul contract with them for, life. And if there's something like that is going to assist you, you need to go onto that contract and then maybe come back in the future and continue on another level of soul contract with the other people in your life. And people can come in and go out for years and then come back. So, don't allow that to scare you, and know that the new contracts are coming in to be healed too. So there may be some people coming into your reality who just stick around for a couple weeks, but you're able to heal whatever contract there is that is like bringing this stuff up, so that you can be released and you can release the darkness from yourself, and that you can heal. And you can heal that ancestral stuff as well. And we also have past lives. So past life stuff is coming up, and this is all connected. So you go back into your past lives and you look and you see and you retrieve that soul, so that you can heal and that you can like release yourself from anything that may have created karma. And that karma could be carried out into this lifetime, and it's like you've got to go back and heal that originator of that karma, so that you don't have to deal in that perpetual like, why does this always happen to me? Like maybe you're somebody who every time you get a job, you get to 6 months and something happens and it's horrible. Or maybe every time you have a birthday, it's horrible. Or maybe every time you get into a relationship with somebody, it's like the same old thing. Like they come in a certain way, then all of a sudden there's a different way, and then all of a sudden they do this and then they're gone. That can create like a version of yourself that's like very jaded and guarded, and then doesn't want to allow these new people into their lives, and they're like assuming that every person that they meet is going to treat them the same way that they were treated by other people, so then they cut themselves off altogether. There's all different levels of this, but this is all something that could have originated in a past life. It could just be like connected into your soul. It could be from your ancestors. They could just be soul contracts coming in to like do something to you. But whatever it is, this is the type of stuff that you need to heal right now. So doing some guided meditation, maybe journaling, maybe like just, tapping in and asking like what it's connected to, and trusting the messages that pop up into your head. Because if you are one of these peeps, you know how to do so, and you know how to trust yourself. It just comes in, and you'll get confirmation and you'll get answers if you ask outside of yourself too. Just ask your I am presence to confirm like what you receive through a specific thing. Like you can say, show me 1111 2 times in the next couple of days if blah blah blah. And if you see 1111 2 times in the next hour, then you know that you're on point. All right. And then I asked, I think there was 2 that came out for healing, because this one's next to it. So this is still what we need to heal. It says, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Okay, so this goes along with what we've been talking about too. As these tower moments are coming crashing down, and you start rebuilding, and as you're healing like the wounds of the past, and having soul contracts come up, and new people and old people like shifting in and out of your life, your soul is going to start calling out to you to take that next step. And I've been saying all night, are you listening to the call? So you may be having a call to step into the next level of who you are. You may be having the call to increase your worth in yourself, or to take that promotion, or to connect with that person, or to take that chance in love, or to take that chance in, like this friendship or this union with somebody. Take the chance in regards to like how you feel about yourself, and like, healing it, or trying out something that may better you, or help you to understand your own suffering. It's time to take that action. And like, even if it's as simple as like you're being called to meditate and you never meditated before, well, do it. Or if you're being called to meditate upon something specifically, don't put it off. Do it in the moment that you're being called to do it. Take those moments out, because it's those moments of reflection and you connecting and receiving the answers and listening to the guidance are the moments that are going to assist you in retrieving those parts of your soul and rebuilding everything that's going to be coming down around you, and the things that have already come down around you. It's time to rise up out of that fog of illusion. And even here we see like there's a lot of fog and energy and darkness and stuff. It's time to rise out of that. It's time to like
have this new dawning. It's time to get into connection with the wisdom. It's time to connect with your emotions, and it's time to honor who you really are, and heal and rise into this new, better, awesome version of yourself. And then I asked what we needed to know. And we got align your life. And it says, what is no longer in alignment with who you truly are. And so this message has come out already tonight, again. And it's like, yeah, you need to know that like whatever's not in alignment with you is coming out. So if you've been holding on to something that you know is not serving you, if it's a person, if it's a place, if it's a thing, if it's a, like a career, it's time for that to go. So it's going to crumble, and it may shatter your world a little bit. It may shatter your perspective. It may be like, and that's okay. I'm here to let you know that these things are coming, so you can kind of prepare yourself. And it's okay to fall apart a little bit. You just don't want to stay down there, okay? You need to realize that there's a bigger thing at play right now, and anything that's going to shift or change is in alignment with your highest and best. Like these things don't just come into your reality to hurt you. Even if you end up hurt, it's something that's going to teach you a lesson and allow you to move on in your life in a new way that changes your perspective and allows you to look at things in a new way, or look at things through the eyes of somebody else, so that you can have like empathy and compassion for them. And it may even change your perspective enough that you change your views, and you change the way that you live in this world, and that ripples out into the consciousness, into the energy, and you may be able to make a bigger impact through this transformation of consciousness, and this transformation of your life. And it's like getting into alignment with your actual truth, so like instead of looking in the mirror and like seeing somebody that's not really there, or trying to be somebody who's not really there, it's the end of that. It's time to like put away the filters, time to put away the energy of illusion. It's time to step into who you truly are, show who you truly are, and love who you truly are. It has to be in alignment with yourself too. You can't fake your way through. You have to really, really do the work and get yourself to a point where you love yourself, honor yourself, cherish yourself, and treat yourself in a way that, honors your soul's growth and like the growth of the collective as well. All right. So then I asked how the energies are affecting the divine masculine. And it says, inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So the divine masculine energy, whether they're newly awakened or they've been awakened or they're unawakened, the divine masculines have this overall type of energy coming in where it's like they're starting to connect to that devotion type energy, where it's like they're devoting themselves to different things, and some of them are in alignment and they're devoting themselves to self, like bettering themselves and like taking better care of their physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Some of them are taking on this devotion to the light and like doing the work that's connected to the light and working with their intention, working like through healing, connecting, meditating, doing all of that type of stuff. And then there's also a devotion in alignment with like these masculines who are starting to find a devotion for one individual person instead of like maybe numerous people. There's also a shift in this devotion with like the men who have been in partnerships with the divine feminine are starting to devote themselves even more into their relationships and even more into anchoring the light that they're here to anchor. I do feel like most of the people who resonate and watch these things and that will watch this are going to be like the star-seeded souls, and there may be some of you who have somebody in your reality that is a man who maybe not always devotes their time to you, or they do devote their time to you but they don't do it in a way that's like serving you, or they're not honoring your boundaries, or they're not honoring your worth, and you're bringing yourself down a level to kind of like be a part of this, and maybe you're devoting yourself too much. Maybe the divine feminine is being like too devoted to a masculine, but it's time to tune into the portal of the heart. So as this masculine tunes into the portal, the 717 portal, it's going to connect with their hearts and their emotions and how they feel. And it's going to affect how they feel about themselves, and in turn it's going to affect how they feel about other people. And then hopefully in turn it will heal any of that stuff that's been maybe brewing if you are not being honored, or if you are not having your boundaries met, if you are not having your standards accepted, if you know, and for divine feminines who were allowing their standards to be lowered to connect with like different divine masculines and divine feminines, you know, the masculine energy inside of them could shift into this like devotion to self, and this devotion to actually honoring other people's truths and honoring other people's feelings and not pushing anything on them, in aligning in like balance, and not, you know, because it's like there has to be balance. It can't be always one person giving, and it can't be always one person taking, and there's like different levels of it. So there should always be balance in relationships, because if not, then you start having the resentment, and then you start having anger. So this could be going on in like career as well. Like there could be like this devotion to, you know, improving their title at their work, and as long as it's in alignment with their mission and what they're doing here, then it will go forward. If it's not where they're supposed to be, they may have a tower moment and have to leave there, but they will find something else to devote themselves to, and it will come from passion. It will come from their heart. Some of the masculines may have these tower moments in regards to like big things, like where they work, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, my entire world's going to change. But if they follow their heart, they're going to be taken care of. If they follow their passion, you know, the things that they've always thought about in the back of their mind, that they were like, oh someday, well, someday is gonna come a little bit quicker, because we're shifting and we're accelerating and things are happening. So, you know, some of you are going to have your someday come real quick. So that is for the divine masculines. And then for the divine feminines, it says, don't dim to fit in. And it says, how are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And that's a perfect like card to come out with the masculines, you know, like basically saying that there's some feminines out there who have been dimming their light. They have been, you know, putting themselves under the radar, or they've been lowering their standards and lowering their expectations and allowing somebody to, you know, affect them in a way that isn't maybe positive from themselves. As a result, this is what happens. It's like they've dimmed their light. They haven't shined as brightly as they could, or they haven't been seen for the person that they are, because they're dimming their light and they're lowering themselves, and then they're being viewed in that light, and they're emitting that light, because that vibration comes in. You know, when they do something like that, they feel it and they don't like it, and you know, it ripples out around them, and it affects their entire life. It can affect their energy with other people. It can affect their energy with like their work. It can affect their energy with their health. It can affect their energy with like just about anything. So stop dimming your light, divine feminine. If and even with like your friends, you know, your soul family, I feel like there's a message. Like there's some people who are afraid to speak up, like what they're seeing or what they're feeling in regards to the divine, because they're dimming their light because they don't want to be wrong. So that is coming in too. Like you have to step into this confidence and knowing like it's not you. If you're receiving messages and guidance, if you're using a tool like oracle cards or tarot cards or anything, you're still going to receive messages. If you're meditating, if you're, you know, giving somebody, if you're channeling, whatever it is, like you are still in alignment with the light, and there's no reason to dim it or hide it or fear that it's not correct, because it's not your information. It's information from outside of you. It's information being delivered to somebody else anyhow. You know, you may find pieces of it that resonate for yourself, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't like affect everybody as well. So divine feminine, it's time to step into your power. It's time to stop like hiding your true self from friends, from family, from coworkers. It's time to awaken into your divine light and into your divine truth and emit that divine truth out there. in like particularly in regards to relationships too, like if you've been dimming your light or lowering who you are or what you expect in this world, for certain people or peoples, then you need to shift that out and step into alignment with who you really are, and start shining a little bit brighter, and don't do that in order to just fit in or to be accepted or to be a part of something that really isn't going to serve you. And again, with these tower moments going on, your whole perception of surrounding that could change. You may all of a sudden look at it through these new eyes and be like, you know what? I am done with that person. I am stepping into these boundaries. I am finding my soul family, and I am birthing the new age with the new people who like serve me, love me, and assist me. All right. And then we have, how is it going to affect romantic energies? And the card that came out is, oh, no, that's not right. I think I messed up. These were supposed to be for physical bodies. And this is supposed to be in effects with like your personal growth. So I'm going to go back up through this too, because we're getting messages like, I know that the messages that are coming through are in alignment, like, or they wouldn't have come through. Like, I'm not going to question it, but I also want to bring in the messages in regards to the other parts too. So I do believe the divine masculine and divine feminine were correct. But they're also holding other energy, and there's also other messages. So let me go back really quick to the divine masculine and divine feminine. And this is what we needed to know, is that there's tower moments here, and that all of this stuff is going to come crashing down. So this is all of that energy of like, okay, we gotta know this and understand this and allow for this transformation and getting ready to start building up from the crumbles, and anything that you're holding on to, it's time to release. But divine masculine, you have the energy of unbound coming up for you, which is about releasing those soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So divine masculines, it's time for you to go into the unconscious and to figure out what's triggering you, what's coming from past lives, what's coming from your ancestors. And when you go back and travel through your past lives, like if you do a soul retrieval, or if you maybe find a guided meditation to travel through your past lives, try to stay conscious and try to do the work and figure out like where something may have gone wrong, why you may carry a certain trait or a certain behavior into this lifetime, and allow yourself to recollect that aspect of your soul that may have been left behind there, so that you can heal and shift the experiences that you have in this world, and also know that you're having your soul contracts come in. And there's some soul contracts that are very long, there's some that are very short, there's some that will like never ever end unless you actually like face it and honor it and go, okay, I'm gonna give it my all and put my energy into this and see what happens, because there's a reason that it keeps happening. And then there's just like that reminder again too, to just like connect with the past lives, and you may be feeling a way about a certain person within your soul tribe, or somebody in your reality that you're like wondering and questioning, who can assist you in navigating through your emotions, but can also assist you in navigating through like this energy, through this like understanding, through becoming the best version of yourself. And then for divine feminine, we have answer the call, and that is about what is your soul calling you to do. So divine feminine, it's time to listen to what your soul's telling you to do. Honestly, if your soul is telling you to set those boundaries, if your soul's telling you to walk away from someone or something, if your soul is pushing you to get into alignment with something you've been wanting to do for a long time, if your soul's pushing you to have fun, to take time out, or maybe treat yourself with something new, listen to that call as well. And, while you're doing this, while you're listening to that call, and you're, maybe going to the beach, or maybe going for a walk in the woods, maybe you have a fire, maybe you just want to go sit in the sun. As long as you're listening to that call, you're going to find your balance. And you're going to give yourself space so that those masculines who are doing all this deep work and who may be having some stuff to heal in regards to how they communicate or connect with the feminine energy, you'll be working on yourself and you'll be getting into alignment with yourself so that when you come back into each other's realities, that you're both healed. And then you have a better shot at making these people your actual soul family, because they're not just like using you or, you know, taking something from you energetically. They're just a part of your, you know, overall experiences. They're healing and working through them, and they're healing karmic stuff, and they may come in so that you can heal karmic stuff, but they may come in as a new version so that you can heal a new version of what's coming in. So there's all different types of messages coming in regards to all of this.
All right, so now we're going to move on to how the overall 717 portal is affecting the romance. Okay, so for the romance, we have Align Your Life, and this is what is no longer in alignment with you or who you truly are. Okay, so we've already had messages come out from here, but the intention of this was for romance, and I do feel like this is very connected because this message has been coming out already tonight. So how this is going to affect romantic relationships is like those perspectives that you're having are going to shift, and like whatever's no longer in alignment with the relationship is going to shift. So you may start seeing your counterparts or your soulmates or your friends or your coworkers in this new light. You may start seeing them like through these different eyes. For those who are in romantic relationships, this is going to like shake things up. Anything that's no longer serving the relationship is going to go. So we're going to have those tower moments in regards to like our romance as well. So if you're in a relationship, you know, get ready because the whole relationship may crumble down. If you've had somebody who was interested in you or was pulled to you, that may come crumbling down because all of a sudden this new perspective comes in and they're like, hey, you know what, that doesn't align for me, bye. And also, like, for those who are single, like, you may have a shift in your relationship too. Like, you may have a shift in your romantic type of relationships where if there was somebody who, like, was pulled to you, those people may be pulled away. If there was somebody who you were interested in, you may pull away. Like, you may be like, yeah, I'm not really interested anymore. And there's also the energy that, like, some of those people who have been, like, single or detached may have that come crumbling down, where somebody enters their reality that holds the energy and vibration of a soulmate or a twin flame or somebody that's going to, like, shift their whole world. But it's all in alignment with whatever is going to serve you. So if you need to be, you know, focusing on something other than romance, and like the romantic parts of your life may come crumbling down, or you may shift your focus off of romance. And for those who are in relationships, if the relationship is not honoring your boundaries and it's not making you feel like you're at home, it's not bringing you that joy and that fun, there may be karmic contracts that are getting released. And I do feel like that's in alignment with the Divine Masculines reading. So like if you're, you know, in a relationship with somebody, or you've been like interacting with somebody that you've been, you know, connected with, or you thinking about, or whatever, that may come crumbling down for you. Like, you know, it may be released, it may be healed, it may be shifted. There may be some part of that karmic contract that's no longer going to be bound to you. And also that, like, so for like those who are in the twin flame stuff, a lot of people have said in the past, it's like when that desire for the person goes away, that's when like things really shift. When you are able to practice that detachment. So for those people who have had runner energies, or like, you know, they've been pursuing somebody else, they may have a death of that and be like, you know what, I don't even want to do that anymore.
or they may, view that person in a whole new way and be like, what was I thinking? So there's a lot going on in regards to that, and I feel like even in like romantic ways with yourself, this is going to shift. So if you've been looking at yourself in a way that like has kept you from loving yourself, or like, feeling arousal or whatever, like that could come to the ending. It's really anything that's no longer serving you is going to shift out of your life. So if your romantic relationships are no longer serving you, then those are going to end, or they're going to shift into something that does serve you. So there's also that coming through, like those who have been on a journey with somebody who hasn't been treating them properly, and all of a sudden this person who wasn't being treated properly shifts their perceptions and sees them, and it causes one of these crumbles to come down, that the other person may be like, wait, let me shift so that we can continue on, because we have something else that we have to heal, or we have another contract, or we've served our contract, but now we can be a part of each other's soul family without any of that stuff that's holding us back. So there's a lot of messages coming through, because there's a lot of people out there and a lot of different situations going on. And there could be like divine feminines out there who are, having unhealthy like patterns or habits surrounding somebody, or like wanting a romantic connection, and they want it so badly that they actually create resistance to it, and it comes crumbling down. Or like maybe somebody was interested in them and then they like pushed too hard and that came crumbling down. But again, I do feel it's more connected to like how people are going to see stuff. So I feel like the masculines and the feminines are both going to be shifting their views in regards to love and relationships, and like who they want to connect with and who they want to honor, and who they want to like even be in their energy, or if like they're even worthy to be in their energy. So like that is really shifting, and a lot of stuff is going to be ending. Like I feel like a lot of the people who are carrying chaser energy are going to stop. I feel like a lot of people who were just like not like calling for the type of love that they deserve, like that's going to stop. So there's just a lot going on, all over the place with the romance. And then I asked for career. How is this portal going to affect people's career? And it says inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So we did have this message come through before, and I was reading it for like the masculine, I believe, but what it was supposed to be intended for was for the career. And I think that these messages have already come out anyhow, but it's about devotion and tuning into the portal of your heart. So in regards to the career, like you are going to feel this devotion all of a sudden come alive. And if you look at the photo, it's like very connected to the divine. So, if you've had an awakening recently, you may realize that like the career that you're in, you just can't do it anymore. Maybe there's something about it that's like very ego driven. Maybe there's people there who are just like triggering you left and right. Maybe you just know that like this path isn't going to fulfill you or sustain you. And so you're going to just like have this new devotion to changing and switching, having that tower moment come up and go, because I ain't doing that anymore. And then shifting that perception and aligning your awareness into something new so that you can create this better path that's in alignment with your mission, and it's in alignment with what you actually want to do and manifest here. And it can be given in many different ways. It doesn't mean you become some spiritual guru. It doesn't mean you become some Reiki healer. It doesn't mean you start reading cards, unless you're drawn to those things and those things resonate for you and you feel like the call to do it. But this could even be just like in regards to like stepping into service for others more so. Like if you maybe you'll take a cut in your pay so that you can be of service or in some way, or you can help protect other people, or you can help save other people, or you can help other people with some sort of problem. Or maybe you'll step into like this entrepreneur energy that has been coming through a lot, where it's like you decide you're gonna follow through on a dream that you've had, or creating something that you thought you wanted to create, or, getting back into alignment with the things that have brought you passion in the past. Maybe you've dabbled with art, maybe you've dabbled with poetry, maybe you've dabbled with, this, that, or the other thing, and it really like made you happy, and that's what you want to pursue more of. So, it's time to listen to that and to start allowing that to come in, and, tune into your heart, follow your heart. Your heart's going to lead you to your passion, and your passion's going to lead you to your truth, and your truth is going to lead you to expansion, and your expansion is going to lead you to abundance. And you may have things come crashing down and change, but, it's up to you to rebuild it with that devotion to the light, and that devotion to yourself, and that devotion to staying in alignment with where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be going. And then I asked how it's going to affect our personal growth. And the card that came out for that was don't dim it. Don't dim to fit in. So how are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So that is stunting your personal growth. If you've been holding back, like for instance, I've been holding back in regards to my readings. I've noticed, like, back when I first started my channel, I would do like these things with these energy updates, and I would talk freely about stuff that was going on in energy and all of that. And, I've channeled a few messages on here that have reached a lot of people that I feel were in alignment with the collective at that time. And then, I took kind of like a lull or a break from it at all. And then I came back and started doing readings. But it's like I wasn't speaking like how I wanted to speak sometimes, and sometimes I hold back on messages, or I hold back on what I want to say because, I'm dimming that light or dimming that information is kind of how you could look at it. Like, and it's, in order to fit in some ways it was because, like, I didn't want some people to think that I was nuts or that I was crazy. Like, I didn't want them to just come and run. But now I've realized, like, all I really want is the people who are going to come and resonate and be, like, okay with what that is, because that's my truth. And I need to be in alignment with my truth and my power. And I need to know that it's okay that my truth, maybe not like other people's truths, but my truth has a pretty good standing. And so again, there may be those like tower moments in regards to your personal growth where it's like you have the ending of a certain way of doing something, and you rise and you're like, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to dim my light. I'm going to shine as bright as I can and speak my truth as well as I can for as many as I can, and hopefully bring some shifting to this planet and to these people and to the places and to the things that are needed. Hopefully I can align and release whatever's been holding me back and clear out anything that needs to be cleared out. And I'm going to devote myself to that intention through my passion to continue on and, do my work and not, dim it down or dumb it down or leave it like, halfway done or not speaking my full truth. And, you can speak your truth without hurting another person. You can speak your truth without bringing other people into it. You can give for instances and people can try to figure out if they know who the hell you're talking about or anything like that. But when these messages are like this, it's for the collective. So these messages resonate from more than one person. So you just have to take what comes in, and you have to allow it to go where it belongs. And in regards to your life, you want to start honoring that inside of you and being in knowing. Like, don't dim your light, trust that light, trust that intuitive knowing, trust that you're going to lead yourself on the right path, trust that you're going to know that the answer that you received is for you or not. If it resonated on a soul level, you're going to go, okay, that message is for me, I'll take it. And even if you have to shift it. I was thinking of doing like an online class to teach people how to read cards or how to read the energy. Because I want people to be able to take from these readings their own interpretations too, because we all have different stuff going on. So when I tell you not to dim your light so that you can fit in, that could be in a lot of ways. Like maybe you're doing it before you connect with a certain person. Maybe it's like somebody you're romantically interested in, and instead of like showing them your truth and your power and your light, maybe you dim it down and you don't really talk about it, or you don't really like even like acknowledge it, or you try to like back away from it because you're not sure how much of that light that person can withstand, and you don't want to scare them away. And this can happen with a lot of people. Like I actually saw this happen with somebody recently where they thought like I wasn't going to want to be their friend anymore because they told me their truth. And I was like, that is freaking awesome. Like, I want to know that truth. So, sometimes we set up these illusions in our mind and these things in our mind that also have to come tumbling down. If the people who are around you really matter and are going to stick around, then, you should be able to speak your truth and birth this new age. You don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to, like, feel like you don't belong, because you do. And there's people who love you, and that's your soul family. So, as long as you're having those normal, healthy boundaries in regards to your light, you're not like allowing people to just like draw off of it. You don't want to dim your light either. And you want to be able to continue in those boundaries, because when you shine your light bright, everybody's pulled to it like a beacon. But you want to make sure you stay firm in your boundaries and don't give, or, become best friends with every person who crosses your path, because you just can't. You only have so much to give, and you only have so much to receive. So it's like, you can receive infinitely, you can give infinitely, but it's not a part of your mission at this time. What your mission at this time is to align fully with what serves you and what's connected to your boundaries, and to like shine that light out into the world, and not worry about what other people think or what other people say or what other people feel about it. And then I asked how it was going to affect our physical body, and I got 3 cards. And that's why I was like mixing up and getting confused, because I was like numbers off. I forgot that we had gotten 3 cards for the physical body. So this 717 portal, how it's going to affect your physical body. The first card is Starseed, what lights you up. And the next one is Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? And then the next one is the initiation, rite of passage, you're going somewhere sacred. Okay, so let's see. In regards to your physical body, when we see the Starseed card, it says what lights you up. I do want you to think about that, because your physical bodies will react to the things that bring you joy. Like if you like sitting outside next to a fire, sit next to the fire. If you like going to the ocean and just connecting with the silence and the waves and the water and the sun, then go there. And that will like assist your physical body. If you're somebody that enjoys being home alone, make sure you schedule yourself enough time home where you can kind of recoup and like allow your energy to build, or you can connect with your emotions, and you can, reflect inwardly and do like what needs to be done to prepare on emotional levels and mental levels, because that's ultimately what's going to affect your physical level. And make sure that you're cleansing too. Like make sure you're cleansing your energetic space. Make sure you're cleansing your chakras. Make sure you, like, before you go to bed at night, you either cut your cords, maybe listen to a guided meditation that's going to assist in healing something or activating something, or just making you feel like, that you have more pep in your step, or that you're more in alignment, or whatever it is that you feel is needed, because all of this is going to bring up stuff. You may start crying, you may start having anger, you may start having like resentment towards people, you may find like you're going to a place of like anxiety surrounding people, maybe things are starting to overwhelm you that didn't in the past, maybe you're starting to process emotions that you were like putting off, or you didn't realize. And as I said that, my heart just like really shifted. So I feel like that really resonates for some people. Like some people are in big pain right now. And it's a result of like pushing that pain down and pushing that pain down. And now that like it's now that like these towers have collapsed and things have come down, they're starting to see it, they're starting to feel it. And it's causing some grief in their heart. It's causing some sadness and some big emotions. So again, that call to like what lights you up needs to come in, because you're not going to want to stay in that sad vibration. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be, releasing whatever doesn't serve you anymore, but you also want to balance it out with the things that light you up. And this other card that came in is perfect, Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? For me, I feel like this is perfect, because like as these emotions were coming up, I was actually thinking of like my sister and if she has cried yet. And then Star Mother comes out and it says, how can you mother yourself? So like this is something that I could offer her too. It's like, when her divine truth comes up and she gets, that reality of what's going on around her. Because I feel like part of it was that my mother was gone for so long, she still hasn't really fully like taken in the concept that she's not coming back. And so then we have the divine, mother here, the Star Mother, that says, how can you mother yourself? So bringing her those tools or that energy, or like, stepping into the mother role, to be there in a support, emotionally and, mentally as well as possible, giving like encouragement and love and just holding space for these emotions to come up and to be processed. But also stepping into that mothering role and being the nurturer and being the one that is going to help and assist and protect and make sure that, the world doesn't fall apart beneath their feet. And like in regards to mothering self, giving them the guidance or the wisdom that's been being called to be passed on so that they can utilize it in their everyday energy, in their everyday world, and start manifesting a new world and start, getting in alignment with what fires them up and the things that like bring them joy, and then realizing like there's such a beautiful energy that comes from this, and like, maybe even helping other people step into their light or step into their spiritual roles will be happening with our physical bodies. We may feel like we need to do something in the physical. We may all of a sudden have a call to like get something going or do something. Again, like I had the call to just get rocking on my studio all of a sudden tonight. It's like, all right, I got to do it now. I did put it in my planner for today, but sometimes I don't go by my planner. And today I made sure I stuck by that truth and got into that energy of making it happen, because, who else is going to do it for me? But, I also have to remember to mother myself and to like nurture myself and make sure that I get, a good night's rest, and that I eat well, and that I, have like hydration, and that I'm, warm and comfortable and in clean clothes and took a shower and, just mothered myself, did the things that a mother would tell you to do without being prompted to do it. So those two were the first that came out for the physical body and how this is going to affect us. And the last is the initiation, the rites of passage. You're going somewhere sacred. So your physical body is shifting and evolving, and you're going somewhere to this new level, which we've kind of already established. We know that this is here. We know that whatever has existed is going to come crashing down, and it's like the end of the old and it's the beginning of the new, and it's how you decide to navigate down this path that's going to dictate how it affects you. You're being initiated into this sacred place, into this beautiful like rite of passage, which is, like the Mooney key is a rite of passage, is connecting with your ancestors. It's activating the healing in your hands. It's connecting with the elements of earth. It's protecting yourself with the elements of earth. It's connecting with 7 archetypes, with the 7 chakras that all connect you to different directions and different archetypal expressions and energies that are going to assist you in your day-to-day life. It's about connecting to the lineages of masculines and feminines who've, stepped outside of time, or just stepped into like wisdom teachings, or bringing joy to others, bringing in that daykeeper, mothering energy, the ones who like were the midwives, the ones who, fed people, who were the herbalists, who helped take care of the sick. There's a lot of different stuff going on, and it's all connected to that. And there's another rite that's like connected to the star energy, where the 7 energy of the 7 stars comes down to the 7 chakras. And then there's the creator rite, where you step into the creator role. And I feel like that's like when you step through this door. You're going through this initiation, you're climbing up the steps of it, and you're almost there. And if you can continue down this path, and you can, illuminate yourself, and you can get into alignment with what it is that really serves your soul and serves your physical body, and you heal away anything that's been holding you back in the physical so that you can accelerate in the non-physical too, that is what you need to do right now. And in regards to your going somewhere sacred, you could even be going somewhere sacred in your like physical reality. You may have plans or a trip or something that is coming up, and when you arrive, you're going to notice that like there's a lot of this spiritual stuff happening around you, because now you're not distracted by the everyday life. You're somewhere else, there's new things around you. You may start, you know, feeling the call or feeling the pull to reconnect with people, or to apologize to people, or to connect with somebody that, you know, had brought, you know, triggers up in the past, or to reconcile with certain people. Your physical body is going to be compelled to do a lot of things, but I also feel like it's going to go through like a little bit of darkness. Like there's going to be like this little tunnel of darkness, and you know, it may, if you know, feed too much energy or power to it, could consume you. But if you stay in alignment with where you're supposed to be, it will be all good, and you'll go right through it. Okay. And then I just asked for like the overall energy from the tarot card, the Syrian Starseed Tarot card. I just wanted like one confirmation on the overall energy, and it's divine justice. So I do feel like the scales of justice are at play here. Like now, as this portal opens, and again we see like the divine rising from the portal, and it just happens to be the divine feminine, but she's got like the thing over her eyes and she can't see. So she's, you know what, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to feel, and I'm not going to observe. I'm just going to practice non-attachment, non-judgment, and make my cast based on how I feel intuitively. And when she, you know, does this, she brings forth that balance. You know, it transforms the things, and, you know, it releases what doesn't need to be there anymore. It may cause more of this tower moment, you know, but these tower moments are also leading to this justice. It's leading to this energy of fulfillment. It's leading to this energy of like, yay, we did it. You know, I light my way out of the darkness, or I, you know, balanced my way into where I'm supposed to be. Or, you know, maybe like you've balanced relationships with others, and now that relationship is ready to flourish and heal and move forward. Or maybe you've found more people inside of your, you know, soul family to communicate with, and to navigate through these things that are crashing, and these things that are shifting, and these things that are changing. And again, you may have people show up in the physical who are going to replace people that, you know, stop showing up. There's so much stuff going on once again. So just know that like this is happening, and this divine justice is going to happen for everybody. So if you've been doing the work, you're going to keep accelerating up. If you've been treating people like a piece of shit, then you're probably going to go down a little bit. You may feel down a little bit. But you can be, you know, brought back up. Like those, you know, the people who've gone through stuff and risen through stuff often forgive things very quickly and easily, particularly if they are approached in the proper way to forgive somebody for something. And if that person is part of their soul family, you know, like as long as they're having those healthy boundaries, this divine judgment, this like justice is going to be served. And this could be also in regards to like, you know, the world at this time. Like justice is going to be served. Divine justice is coming. So stop feeding energy to the negative and to the darkness. You know, unless you're making an actual change by watching something, I don't think that it's healthy for people to get consumed into it or to allow it to bother them. And again, that can show up in the physical body as a physical type of lesson that needed to be healed, shifted, and released. So that is all for the divine justice that is coming, and I think it's coming for all things. This portal is going to open up this like wave of balance. It's going to wash over the masculines, it's going to wash over the feminines, it's going to wash over people's heads, hearts, their feelings, their emotions. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect our hearts, our actions, what we know, like what we want to know, what we feel. It's going to affect our romantic lives, our careers, our personal growth, and our physical bodies. So just know that this is coming, but it's coming with that energy of justice. So there's nothing to fear, particularly if you've been in alignment with the light, then there's nothing that you need to fear or be like, oh no, what's going to happen? And the last card on the original deck, I'm going to read first, I forgot about it, is share your voice, come out of the cave, come out of persecution and expression. So this message is coming in too. So as you heal those things of the past, as you heal your ancestors, as you heal the lineage of people or women that, like, were stuck in their suffering or stuck in the victim mode, now is time to, like, speak the truth. Now is time to come out. It's time to, like, fix the wrongs that were done, or at least, like, communicate the wrongs that were done, so that you can free yourself from that, like, prison of holding on to something that just was eating you up. And it's okay to express yourself. Like, that message is coming through too. Like, it's time to express yourself authentically, 100%, so that you can heal and that you can shift and that you can align into what you're supposed to be doing. And it may be in a past life, again, you were persecuted when you spoke your truth. So you may hold back on it now, or you may feel like you need to, like, dim that light a little bit. But the message is, no, it's time to, like, get it out there. Like, the world's a big, different place now, and more people are kind of, like, aware, or they're open to being aware. And if you just set the intention that the right people find your guidance or your connection, that resonate with it, then you're also protected by the divine. Yes, sometimes people can show up and be rude or say something that is, like, disheartening, but a lot of times those people are doing it out of a place of jealousy, or they're doing it to, like, manipulate something. So just make sure you're sharing your truth, make sure you're staying into alignment. Like, don't allow the influence of others outside of you to affect you. And then the last card off of the bottom of the deck of the tarot is the Star. So I guess where all of this is leading is to this beautiful new expansion. It's like the Star brings in hope. It brings in that, like, tranquility. It brings in that, like, surrender. It brings in that calm after the storm. So after all those towers drop, after everybody's lives shifted and changed, and after everything's kind of, like, settled, it's time to pick up all of that rubble and sift through it and figure out, like, what's worth saving, what's worth releasing, allowing that divine justice to come in, and knowing that, like, no matter what you go through, you can rise through it, and that the universe always provides to you in the exact way that you need to receive, so that you can. But this Star is basically saying that this overall energy of this portal is really going to open you up. There could be unions happening for soul family. There could be unions happening in the romantic levels. There could be unions happening with the I am presence, and with, like, the inner confidence, and having those boundaries set, like, making that time to have fun, realizing your role here to create this new earth, and realizing that, like, it's time to answer the call, it's time to do the ancestral work, it's time to connect with, like, these rites of passage that are going to shift your perspective. And it is time to shift your perspective, and it is time to devote yourself and tune into, like, the part of your heart that is going to bring you into alignment with your passion, so that the person that you're communicating with or talking to can see how much passion there is in your eyes. And they don't want you to dim your light, so they take on that choice to support you and love you and honor you and in your mission and in your path. And that is where all of this is headed, is this beautiful Star energy. It's this beautiful, yes, new beginning. It's like this potent miracle type of energy comes in, and it's time to make that wish in regards to what you want to manifest, or in regards to, like, what you want to release. Maybe do 3 of each. It's totally up to you, but this is a time to start asking and manifesting what it is that you actually want into your reality, so that you can shift it and that you can have that. All right, so I hope that made sense for everybody. I'm sorry that I kind of, like, mixed up the cards, but I do feel like the messages that came through were, guided by Spirit. And, obviously there was a reason I had to read those cards twice, but the messages that came through them twice seemed to be very much in alignment with everything else that was going on. And I know, like, from my own personal experience, what I've been feeling. So if you are interested, I do have the 11 card spread special for $33. I have the 17 card special for $44, and I have like automatic writing and channeling and so on. So if you would like, you can, go into my description of my video and find that. And you can also, subscribe, like, and share, because that will help to get the word out and help to get more of these people to see the readings and to identify with the messages that come through. But anyways, I hope you have a good night. So, Inmune, namaste. I will see you soon.